Hi guys, are you ready to do Romance Tropes Tarot Tag? That was a lot to say, by the way. Anyway, yes, I'm ready. I hope you're ready, because you wouldn't have clicked on this video. I'm Carrie, and you're watching A Crone's Life, and I'm ready to get started, so let's do it! First prompt is enemies to lovers, a deck style or system you've insisted just wasn't for you until you realized it was. So, I picked Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea because the thing is I went through a stage where I wanted to be, a little bit hipster, and I wanted to find decks that nobody else used on the internet, and I thought it would make me special. It sounds so familiar, doesn't it? Anyway, sorry. Yes, I did the thing. So I went and got the Navigators, and I thought that it's like, whatever, you can read these, you can read anything if you can read, one thing. Well, this is Thoth-based, and I had not brushed up on my Thoth at the time, so I did not know what I was doing. And I got it, and I said, I don't know what to do with this. So I kind of didn't like it. So, yeah, I saw Atypical Tarot. I'm not sure what the gentleman's name is on that video, but he used this deck quite a lot. And so I followed whenever he had a video that featured these cards, where he, was talking about a specific card or translation. I followed his channel and I watched what he had to say, and by golly, it clicked. And I said, you know what? I love this deck. This deck fills a space that I don't think I ever even knew I'd had. That space came out of nowhere. So I have this deck. And now I love it. It took a bit and some convincing, but here we are. I think it's great. I mean, this is probably the best card as far as the artwork. The Queen of Pentacles. She's beautiful. And hey, so sorry about that. So this is by Julia Turk, and the guidebook is teeny tiny. It's just a little white guidebook because, that's how they do. And yes, it does help, but no, I'm not that easy. I need little holding hands time. So the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea is my enemies to lovers deck. Friends to lovers, a deck you used to like well enough, and then one reading deepened or changed your relationship with it. So I'm gonna have to go with an oracle on this one. This is the Water Witch Seafoam Oracle deck. Yeah. So I took this deck to the Bighorn Basin Medicine Wheel, and it walked the circle with me. I've never, well, that's not true. I very rarely feel these kind of feelings with a deck or experiences in the wild, and this deck shared that with me and did all of my readings on it. Went with me. It did readings with my other decks on this trip. It was a big long trip, by the way. We went to the Dakotas, spent quite a lot of time traveling, and it was lovely. This deck has a gorgeous feel. It's very glossy, but it, I don't know, it just makes the experience of reading cards wonderful when you have something that has this kind of luxury to it. So, and very happy with it, but it's much closer to me now than it was when I first got it. So the next prompt is Forced Proximity. It is a deck that you used for a month, or took on holiday, or made yourself work with for a certain period of time that changed your relationship with it. So that will have to be my Dungeons and Dragons deck. and this is a really old deck. I've had this for several years. I liked it well enough. I love the art style. So this deck, basically what I had to do was I had to spend a lot of time with it to decide which suits were what. Because they don't just give you the swords and the cups and the pentacles and the wands. So you have to figure that out for yourself. And I spent quite a lot of time just deciding what was what, and I put my own little symbols on the cards to say this is swords. And I don't think these are in order, but I'm seeing all swords. So I did a C for cups. Of course I would have done a W for wands and P for pentacles instead of like coins. I just didn't want it to be difficult to see. And on some of these I had to do a little highlight because the dark background I couldn't really see where the letter was. But yes, I love this deck. This is another very close to me deck. I will not get rid of it ever, ever, ever. And it reads super well. It's multi-purpose. They have a game that you can play with this, and you know, I've never done it. I don't really have anyone that I would want to play this style of game with, but it's a lot of fun. I recognize the characters and I understand the meanings pretty darn well nowadays. So this is the forced proximity. Isn't it pretty though? Ugh, so pretty. Alright, next deck. So the next prompt is Soulmates. When it was just meant to be a deck that you fell in love with immediately. We all know this deck, and I bring this out all the time. This is the Marielle, and I have more than one today. I have fallen in love with several decks at first sight. I'm just going to show you a few of these because I can't help it. I love this deck so much, and any chance I get to look through the cards, I love it. Okay, and then another deck that I completely and totally fell in love with at first sight was the Mind's Eye Tarot. I noticed that Thea had this for a different prompt on her tarot tag, on her version of this tarot tag, and it's funny to me. But Olivia Rose's artwork showed up for me in a 78 deck. If you guys know, you know. It's 78 different artists, and they contribute their artwork to make a type of magpie deck, but it's commercial. And when I saw the one card, her artwork, that one card, I fell in love with her artwork, and I needed to get it, and I needed to have it. And this was the only deck available of hers that I could buy, and I was a little sad, but because I wanted, you know, all of them, of course. But it reads so deep and so wonderful. Very emotive. And there's one other deck, and I'm only bringing this out. I may have it for another prompt, but I'm going to bring it out anyway. Captain B knows, that's not it. Captain B knows that I love his decks because I could not hide it. I had so much affection for these cards. I couldn't wait to get everything of his, and there wasn't much, so it's really fine. I mixed up the oracle inside the tarot, and it's been working really well, by the way. Digging it. The backs are different between the tarot and the oracle, but that doesn't bother me at all. If I don't want to use an oracle card, I'll just put it aside. Yes, just another deck I'm totally in love with. I'm so happy to have so many decks that I've fallen in love with immediately. So that's going to be that prompt. Soulmates. That's number 4. So this is the slow burn prompt. It's a deck that you didn't have the best first impression of, but the more you worked with it, the more you liked it. So I'm not claiming to love this deck yet. I'm still working with it. But this is the Durer Tarot, and it just seemed like something online. It seemed like something I would fall in love with. So the artwork is gorgeous. I don't think I can get everything in frame. It's long, of course. But it has some sexually tantalizing imagery. Very few of them, but some of them. And then the strength cards. So like the wands are very, it's almost like I feel sorry for the lion, and you know, there's just things about it. So there's a wand and the lion. Anyway, it's just got some imagery that I was like, what? Taken aback by. But the more I've worked with it, the more I realize it just has a really crazy sense of humor. Like, wow, what? So here's the little sexy Pan. He's so cute. And he's seducing this lovely lady. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it other than when I first got it and I was looking at it, well, number one, there's no borders, and the language is not mine. I'm not sure if it's, I haven't paid much attention. I think it's Italian. Look at the sun card. It's so cute. Anyway, I haven't done my Google Translate on it yet, so I don't really know if it's, I think it's Italian. But this deck is, yeah, see the wands? They have killed the lion and they use him for their celebratory rug. It's kind of sad. They're drying the skin. I feel so horrible for the lion. Anyway, just babbling. But yeah, I've ended up liking this deck a lot more than I thought I would. It's probably perfect for the time that it came out. I don't know. Yeah. Dude. Pull your britches up. He's just showing us his butt. Is it good? Ace. I like this deck a lot more than I thought I was going to like it. So it has grown on me over the last few months. It's so full of energy. Yeah. In the good and the bad ways. The Queen of Pentacles is sexy, and she knows it. Oh, sorry. I wanted to make sure I was saying everything I needed to say about the deck, but I cannot quite bring any more words. See, the magician is like the street performing magician. He's not the all-powerful wielder of the tools. manifester. Anyway, so yeah, there's some things to get used to, but I really do like this deck. This is a very interesting, cool deck, and it's super nice to have something different like this in my collection. So the next prompt is 6. It's Opposites Attract. This deck is not your usual style, but you love it anyway. So it would have to be the Mystical Dream Tarot. I bought this forever ago, and honestly, I did think it was my style when I purchased it. Like, I looked at it and said, wow, the unique art style, look at, I don't know. I just looked at all the kind of crazy things in it, and I thought, yay, that's totally for me. And then when I used it the first time, I was like so confused. I was so confused, and not for any other reason than I refused to read the guidebook, I guess. Honestly, maybe call me stubborn. I need to spend some time reading. I need to read a lot of guidebooks, actually, and this is still one of them. I do love it, and I want to work with it, and I'm better about knowing like what I'm looking at now than I used to. We used to look at the cards and be like totally oblivious, but now I realize that a lot of these are based on Greek goddesses, Egyptian goddesses. We saw the green man back there, Cernos, or Keranos, however you feel like you need to pronounce it. And, you know, there's several references to, obviously, things that I don't understand, but it's really okay, because I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And I think that she mentioned in her guidebook that a lot of these are based on her dreams, like how she sees the card is how she has dreamt about the card. So that's interesting to me. I love the deck, won't get rid of it, and I'm very excited to have it, and should show you the backs. They're silver-ish. And yeah. I'm not the only person that uses this on YouTube, on TarotTube, though. I've seen other people use it, and Candy's one of them. And I'll probably end up putting it in a bag, to be honest, because I don't really like the box. I really hate the way you have to split the deck in half to store it. There's a couple of other decks that I have like that, but this one is obnoxiously large, and I don't really care for it as the box goes. And I could just store the guidebook on my shelf. I keep my guidebooks up above my tarot decks anyway, so that was that one. So the next one is 7, The Blind Date. This is the floating tarot. I was on Amazon, and I noticed that they had this for pre-order, and all I saw was the box, the pictures on the box, and I said, okay, this is for me. I love it, and I want it, and I have to have it. So I immediately, without second thought, put it in my cart and pre-ordered it. No regrets. I love this deck. I've been reading the guidebook, actually. I mean, you'd be so proud of me. I've been reading the guidebook and learning about this world, this floating world. It's this in-between world between fantasy and reality, and I'll tell you all about it one day, because I plan on going through this deck with you in like a sort of mid to deep dive, not really deep dive, because you know some of that stuff is really personal to me, and how I interpret a card, I don't always like to give that away, but these, they have a lot to say. I mean, from the guidebook, they have a lot to say. So super excited, and do love this deck, and this is my blind date deck. This is my blind date deck. I didn't know anything about it, but I love it, and you're shaking my bar. Please don't shake the bar. Earthquake. Okay. I'll just put down a few more. I don't know if you get to see this or not. I'm definitely shaking because my sweet baby girl is over there shaking the bar. You didn't get to see very many of them, so I want to make sure you get to see some. Alright, that's probably enough. Okay, Second Chance is a deck that you plan to get rid of that worked its way back into rotation, or a deck that you did move along and ended up repurchasing. So that's going to be the Barbara Walker Tarot for me. I've had this deck, I don't know, so long. It was one of my first tarot decks, and I enjoyed the heck out of it back in my college days, and used it like a mad woman. I don't believe I used it correctly. I don't believe I interpreted the cards correctly, because I also had a Hanson Roberts, and I just read them both kind of the same way, and this is definitely not like the Hanson Roberts deck. But young, you know, young people, I was young. So anyway, Barbara Walker was misunderstood by me, and so she got put away for quite a long time. And recently I found her again because of Candy. She wanted to pair, and she did. She paired this deck and the Tantric Dakini, and such a wonderful pairing. I went and bought the Tantric Dakini, but it made me start using this again, and holy moly, this deck is so powerful. I had no idea. Like, yep, I was young. I was in another world. I was an art major. I thought I knew all the things I needed to know, and everything else could just sit there and wait for me. That's such a pain in the butt. But yep, thought I knew everything, so I just worked with it the way I did every other deck that I had, and it is different. It is much different than I thought it was. So I'm very happy to have rediscovered it in my collection and started using it again. So this is my Second Chance deck. The Unrequited Love, the number 9 prompt is Unrequited Love. You really want to love this deck. It just doesn't love you back yet, maybe, and that has to be these guys. So the Witch's Tarot and 3 Black Moons, gorgeous artwork, and I pull them out whenever I think to. I really would love to work more with these decks, say in the new moon rituals that I have. They just don't talk to me. I mean, I don't know why. Here's the backs. Gorgeous backs. Very simple. Lovely. Ugh, nice. One is edged in black and one is edged in shimmery gold. And yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they don't talk to me, but it's so shallow, I guess. Just taking everything at face value. There's no I don't know. There's something missing, and it's gotta be me. Let's be gentle with talking to you. You like the bag? Just see the bag? So, yes, these decks are, I got them on Kickstarter, which is not surprising, I'm sure. The photography is amazing. I probably will not get another one of his decks just because I need to make up to these guys first. I really want them to be my friends. I actually took these guys to the Ring of Fire eclipse, and you know, they hung out with us there. And I thought that that would just really generate lots of power, lots of strength, lots of connectivity between me and these two decks, but it hasn't done much so far. Maybe again this is a slow burn, I'm not sure, but I love these decks. Again, you know, we'll see how it goes. And so I'm moving those along. That's Unrequited Love. The last prompt is Love Triangle, and I have a lot more decks than just 2 that are in competition, because as you guys know, I have backed a lot of Kickstarters lately. And when they all started coming in, it's like I wanted to work with everybody all at the same time. We know how that goes. That's probably unreasonable. I do not develop a good relationship with a deck when my mind is on a different deck, and I think I do personify my decks, by the way, and I just don't think they appreciate me thinking of someone else when I'm, you know, having conversation with them. So I'm only going to pull out, well, let me just think for a second. Okay, I've thought about it. So the tarot deck, the classic of Mountains and Seas, and the Oracle of Wong Tai Sin, and I'm very disappointed. The second edition of this, his second Oracle did not make its funding, and I probably should have gone on here and just mentioned it to you guys, but I didn't get a whole lot of, I don't know, questions or anything about this when I featured it before, so I wasn't sure that anybody really cared what I had to say about it, but I am very disappointed. I really hope that he comes back and does that one again like he did this one, because he had to do this one twice. These two, along with, and I just got this one in the other day, and there's an unboxing of this one up on my page, and the Local Honey picture box. All 4 of these right now are vying for my attention. Like, I want to pair this with the Shifting Shadow, but they're 2 different energies. Like, this is very contemporary, things are like now happening today, and this one is very Fey world. I don't know, it digs more into my subconscious, I think, than this one. And the Oracle of Wong Tai Sin and the classic Mountain and Seas go together perfectly. I could use these all day long, but unfortunately I have other things to pay attention to. So these are all Kickstarters. But on top of that, I also have bought some things. So we know that I purchased the tarot of the Starbound Fantasia, because I just uploaded that video, and several other things. So unfortunately, I've overwhelmed myself with the love triangle kind of business going on over here. I do want to pull these out in just a second and kind of show you how they look together, because it's fascinating, honestly. It's really fun. Alright, I gotta put my glasses on. I can't see a thing. There we go. Separate them quite a bit because they're fairly large. Blah! Even more. Separate them even more. Okay. So, the Starlight Bonfire and not destroying any parts. Speak your truth and nurture. See how they kind of go together? The Trinity and distance. It's amazing to me. They're so different. Triggers and arrows, death. The Welcome Lounge and rebirth. I love the way these two talk together. Honor your pace and affection. Love is alchemy and balance. Make room for opposites and courage. Reality check and know thy enemy. Don't try to convince people and desire. Stop hurting yourself and growth. I really love these. Like, it's amazing. Anyway, I've been trying to do this kind of thing because I do get pulled in different directions with my cards. Like, I want to pay attention to a single one, but at the same time, there's so many. So many reasons to pair things together, right? There's a solution to a problem. Let's see the other two together, because like I said, they are super similar. They do not have this dichotomy that this has. And the Oracle of Wong Tai Sin, seriously, this is like over 100 cards, and I'll agree, I will get on the bandwagon. I don't like the backs, but so what? They're great cards. Okay. And classic mountains and seas. Everything about this deck is gorgeous. There's nothing at all wrong with this deck. I think I don't have them far enough apart. Are you talking, honey bunny? Are you singing? Beware of traps. Page of Swords. Overcome procrastination and whatever attitude. And 9 of Cups. Seize the opportunity. And the High Priestess. Don't get lost in the maze. And the 7 of Pentacles. That's awesome. Wait for the opportune moment. And the Ace of Cups. Relationships will help you overcome difficulties. And the 6 of Swords. Show your own beauty and strength. Blessing in disguise. And 4 of Pentacles. So, just to let you know, the Oracle of Wong Tai Sin, let me think, I've got the book right here, I believe. So, this chim implies that things may still be uncertain and that bad things can be transformed into good things, and good things can also be transformed into bad things. However, we can only accept reality like Sai Wang did and be calm whether it is a blessing or a curse. It's difficult to judge the fortunes and misfortunes of life, but those who do good can turn misfortune into good fortune. If one obtains this chim, one should not rejoice in current blessings, nor should one be saddened by current misfortunes. One must take a firm decision to do good and be convenient for others. The good or the bad of this chim is unpredictable, and it depends on the person. One should be careful in everything to avoid problems. So see, there's a lot more to this than you would think. And I truly appreciate the depth that the guidebook goes into for these chimps, because the whole deck tells a story. It's sequential, you know, things happen and then lessons are learned from those stories. I'm sure you understand. It's like an epic, but, and it's the same with The Mountain and the Seas. This is a story. It's a classic. It's like an epic poem. And again, I've been diving into it a bit so that I can just understand the imagery, and so far it's beautiful. I mean, gosh, so much going on when you're doing these two together, but at the same time it gels beautifully. It gels harmoniously. But you can see why I'm kind of torn between these two. Generally, I have to read the guidebook or read the story, or, you know, getting really into it, it takes more effort. So I should be focusing on one, but instead I'm doing things like this, which is helpful because I'm very bonded to the decks, but at the same time, it's kind of a waste of time if I'm trying to learn the deck, learn this particular deck, and learn this particular deck. So anyway, this was my number 10, and it had a lot of decks in it. I'm so sorry. And it was a love triangle. 2 decks that are in competition with each other over other in your collection, or a pair of decks that you always use together. I don't have a single pair of decks that I always use together. I did not start reading decks together until recently, so nothing is set in stone. I don't have a certain formula that just works perfectly every single time, so I don't do that exactly the same every single time. I show you when I have some that look awesome together and talk to each other, but I never keep things exactly the same. So anyway, that was my tarot tag, and I wanted to thank Krista and Thea for also doing this tarot tag, because you guys gave me some really good ideas, but I like to see other people's answers to the questions as well. So far I've only seen Krista from Krista's Chronicles and Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot do this tarot tag, and thank you so much for Sylvie at Tarot Magpie. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.